Welcome to Drink to... Oh my god, no, that's the exact same tone I used for the first episode. Let's restart that. Welcome to Drink to Play.
Whoa.
This is episode 2 of our brand new baby podcast. My name is Emily, and Samantha cannot be with us this week, but I have a special guest. This is Britney.
Hello, friends. I have a mozzarella stick.
Oh my god, that's true. Not only are we drinking, but we're eating junk food. Did we order food yet?
No, we haven't. You should probably do that.
Oh
it's waiting there.
Oh my god, we... Oh no!
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no.
Oh no, my life. Realistically, do you think we'll need to order actual food if we've got
Probably not.
pizza rolls and mozzarella sticks and tater tots?
My heart says yes, but my brain says no.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense, but like, nutrients. Do you want a multivitamin?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll take some multivitamins later. What are we drinking tonight, Brittany?
We are drinking, among other things, Not Your Father's Vanilla Cream Ale, and it's very good. I like it.
Mm-hmm. So I saw this at Price Chopper today. I was picking up toppings for our tater tots, or tottings, if you will.
Classy.
Toppings. Thank you. And I saw these. We're big fans of the root beer.
Mm-hmm.
I could not leave it behind. So I bought a 6-pack, and I'm having a good time. And before we took shots of like some sort of rum that's been in my freezer.
Yeah, that's syrupy.
Left over by an ex, which was fine. It's okay.
Yeah.
That's how I get all my alcohol. So
It's cost efficient.
oh no. Oh no, here we go. I fell.
Can you get up?
I don't know.
Do you need assistance? Do you have life alert?
No. I'm just laying on the floor in my apartment with one half-eaten mozzarella stick in my right hand, and in the other, my dignity, aka my empty hand. It's nothing.
You do you, honey.
We didn't. Oh, I'm up. It's okay. We didn't really eat beforehand, so this is a monstrosity.
Mm-hmm.
As one specific presidential candidate would have said, it's a disaster.
Huge disaster.
Oh no. I wish you could have seen the gesticulation she just made because it was spot on. So,
We laugh because otherwise we would cry.
I'm always crying. It's okay. So, we are here to drink to play tonight. It's only like 7:30. We've got literally all night. So Brittany, how do I
Yes.
know you?
You know me.
You may know me from.
Yes, quite. We met the freshman year of our undergrad,
Oh,
and we didn't really talk much.
true.
We had a familiar associate that we both knew.
My ex-boyfriend.
Yes. And then we became friends and like got kind of closer, like what, junior year? Yeah.
Yeah, I was your RA and you moved into my room.
Yes.
Oh, great
Indeed.
time.
Very much so. So we're also ex-roommates too.
I know. I mean, when you say ex-roommates, it sounds like it ended badly, but it did not.
Uh-uh.
We would still live together if you didn't already, like, own a house.
Yeah.
So, RIP our friendship. So, okay, Brittany,
Yes.
have you ever played a Nancy Drew game before?
I haven't. I'm a Nancy Drew virgin. I know.
Have you ever heard of them before?
I have. I have heard of Nancy Drew as this icon, this beacon of light that is a female detective sleuth, right? That's essentially what she is. And I've always admired it, and I've always liked it, but I've never been a part of it.
How did you first hear of Nancy Drew games?
I don't know. I guess like in middle school, I had a lot of
Really?
friends. Yeah.
Wow.
Or, like elementary school, back in the day, I heard of my friends would play them. A few of my friends, but I was always a Sims girl, and I got weirded out by like PC games in general. I didn't really know how to play them, the controls and all that. So
Even though The Sims was on the computer, unless you had like a...
That was the only one. That was my exception to the rule. So yeah.
Do you like to play other video games?
I do.
Like what?
Console games. I haven't had the time because adulting, you know.
Ugh, awful.
But my foundation in video games is I don't know, things like Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a huge survival horror genre fan, so spoopy stuff. Resident Evil, Silent Hill, some of the older ones, classics, Fatal Frame. I also really like Harvest Moon. Not that that's a survival horror game, but
I mean, if you think about it, it's like the ultimate adulthood.
Yeah, which is scary as fuck. So
you're not wrong.
So yeah, you know, a whole shebang, a lot of different things.
That is really awesome. I didn't know you went that far back with it. I thought I just bothered you about Nancy Drew games.
No, I've known about them. I've just never experienced it.
Well, tonight you will have that opportunity. Whoa! We are going to be playing Nancy Drew Ghost of Thornton Hall. It was released in 2013.
Wow. So it's one of the newer ones.
Yeah, I guess so.
still.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't... Whew, that was a strong shot we took. Let me read the summary. Ghost of Thornton Hall. Have you ever heard of this game?
Only what you've told me.
Oh.
Which is the name of it.
Okay, so it's a little bit spoopy, a little bit creepy. Great to play this time of year. It's October while we're playing this. Next weekend is Halloween. Hopefully... Oh, okay, here we go. This is a great little blurb to read.
Ooh.
Directly from the Her Interactive website. Shout out to Her Interactive for following the Drink to Play Twitter, by the way.
Woo! Congratulations!
Thank you. I don't think they knew what they were getting into, but because they retweet everything. But if you did it on purpose, I love you.
Yes, thank you so much.
Also, I submitted a job application like 2 years ago when you were looking for a writer. But you know what? It's okay. Next time. Anyway, so here's the summary from the Her Interactive website. Jessalyn Thornton's fateful... Let's start that over because I can't read.
Rewind.
Jessalyn Thornton's fateful sleepover at the abandoned Thornton estate was supposed to be a pre-wedding celebration, but the fun ended when she disappeared. Oh, shit.
That tends to happen.
I know. While her family searches for clues, others refuse to speak about the estate's dark past. Did something supernatural happen to Jessalyn, or is someone in Thornton Hall holding something besides family secrets? Oh, what do you think about that?
Oh, I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be somebody who's trying to hold down the family secrets.
There are...
Because that's the mystery genre in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
There are lots of family secrets as a general rule. I microwaved our appetizers.
Yes.
Basically our dinner plus a multivitamin later. So
Yes, don't forget that.
I know. Do you want me to pre-measure?
important.
You know what? Let's focus on this right now.
Yes.
And then I'll get to it later.
Okay.
Yeah, so from what I understand, it's set in the South.
Okay.
It was not hashtag confirmed by Her Interactive or any of the writers on it, but it's very much like alluded to that it was probably a plantation
Okay.
that the family has a thing at, and there's this big graveyard and like extra spoopy stuff, and I don't know. Do you want to play?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess that's why we're here, right? So
you are so right.
I'm pretty smart.
Your eyebrows look great today, by the way.
Thank you.
I think I tried to look in your eyes, but I made eye contact with your eyebrow instead. Let's see what happens. I don't know.
Ooh,
Yeah.
we've made contact.
Oh boy.
Oh, that's spoopy music.
I know. Too bad you couldn't see us dance to that. It was pretty great. Oh gosh, I forgot to mention that we've got some rules for drinking play.
Oh, I wasn't aware of these. All right, I'm excited.
It was my first episode that you claimed to have listened to.
Oh, well, never mind. I do now.
Okay, so you're familiar.
Yes.
Can you believe that I filmed that episode with Sam in March and then like didn't do anything with it? Yeah, it was March. That was before she graduated and abandoned me.
Oh.
I mean it's okay. She's living her best life. Hey Sam, how's it going? From memory, a couple of the rules were drink every time Nancy says it's locked. It's locked. Drink every time no one tells you anything.
Okay.
Because you're supposed to have done something else. drink every time you encounter a puzzle that you can't solve just yet, which would be more of me telling you when to drink because you don't know anything about the context of the game. I've played this game before. Brittany has not. Let's talk about the Thorntons. What I wanted to know is, like, do you believe in ghosts?
I do.
You do?
Yes.
Tell me more.
As you know, I'm a very spoopy individual. Spooked individual, yes. I love everything paranormal. Ever since before I could remember, I've always been really into it. I've always really liked another funny little anecdote when back in the day when we had like Blockbuster.
Yeah.
All that fun stuff. I would skip by the children's movies and go right to the horror movies when I was really little.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, I know. And so I've always really liked being scared. I've always liked the idea that there may be something that might happen, you know, after death.
Yeah, I'm kind of in a similar boat. There's no way that, like, this is just it when you think of all the people who have lived on this planet, that, like, they're done when, like, they die. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I think it just makes sense. Also, I'm pretty into those, like, ghost hunting shows.
Yes, me too.
They're sensationalized and, like, really hyped up in it, and you can tell that they're like, oh, what the fuck was that? that was my best Zach Bagans impersonation.
It was like I was there. You were good job.
Thank you.
He always reminds me of Gary. Because they're both from Las Vegas.
Oh my god.
Like,
wait, okay, please explain to the people listening at home. Who is Gary?
Who is the Gary?
Who's
the
Gary?
Man, the mystery, the legend.
That's so true.
He's my boyfriend. We've been together for a while. He's an enigma. He is a construct of the imagination. He's not even a person. He's an interesting man. He's very sweet. He's very lovable.
Gary is a great person.
He's very interesting, and I like to make fun of him. That's what I do. That's my goal in life. To make him miserable.
Yeah. To make him miserable.
But he's a reptilian. That's another part of his personality.
What does that mean?
We're gonna go all into this, aren't we?
Let's go.
All right.
Here we are.
So, he's a reptilian overlord from a distant planet. Well, should I tell the whole story? Do we have time for that?
We have all the time in the world.
Okay, cool. Well, buckle up, kids. Gary and I have been dating for a while. All right, it's gonna be 6 years in January. I know, it's crazy.
So long. That's like almost a first grader.
That's a kindergartner.
Your
really.
relationship knows its shapes and colors, and probably lost a tooth already.
Oh my God! Stop.
Okay.
And the alphabet. And,
enough.
And the number. Okay. Yes. So.
Is your relationship right or left-handed?
See, I don't know. I'm guessing right, because I'm right-handed and I steer the
ship. And you're
ship.
always right.
Yes.
Okay, so...
hi, Gary, honey, if you're listening, by the way. He's probably going to.
Hi, Gary. We love you. Come be a guest next time.
Oh my God, I would love that. But anyway...
You'll be an expert, yeah.
Exactly. So one day, within the first few months of knowing this guy, we started long distance, but that's another story in a nutshell. I was on Skype with him, which, who uses that anymore? Does anybody? I was playing a Lady Gaga song in the background, and you know this story. I think I've told you it. Yes. And he's like, turn that off. I don't want anything. That's how he actually sounds, by the way. He's actually like a 78-year-old man. But he's like, turn that off. I hate Lady Gaga. I'm like, what? Why do you hate Lady Gaga? She's pretty cool.
What'd she do to you?
Yeah, exactly. And he was like, I don't want to talk about it. I don't know. And like, he was like, pretty defensive, and I'm like, well, you know what, that's not how this is gonna work. You know, you gotta give me an answer or I'm going to make one up. And he never did, so I made one up. So essentially what happened is he's a reptilian overlord from the planet Reptilia. Lady Gaga is a fellow hatchling from the same parents. And so far, Lady Gaga's doing a pretty good job. I mean, she's massively popular. She's really talented.
True.
She's got her monsters, right? Doing pretty good for herself.
Yeah, what the fuck is Gary doing?
He found me.
He's got essential oils. And he's just...
And he got me.
That's beautiful.
And he's trained to be a mortician, so he can take care of the dead. But that's Gary in a nutshell.
Also, side note, Britney is like the queen of all things spooky. She loves like spooky things, and like Halloween is like
it's a religion
coursing through her veins. Oh
yes,
yeah,
it's a way of life.
Basically, Britney and Gary are Morticia and Gomez Addams.
Yes,
realistically, and they're gonna raise like the spookiest kids, and it's gonna be great.
Little hellions.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Hellions.
Yep. I always say that I'm gonna nickname them Death and Misery, so that I can always tell people that Death and Misery follow me wherever I go. And when they ask why, I'll be like, "Look, they're right there," and people will get confused. But that's my life.
I love it. That's amazing. So we were talking about if we believe in ghosts or not, and that was a heck of a tangent.
Yeah, exactly.
Cheers, my friend. I wanted to point out that I really liked in the game for Thornton Hall, since this is a Nancy True podcast, that like in the beginning they just laid out that like, yes, ghosts are happening. This is a thing, but it's up to you whether or not you want to like believe in it, and that'll shape your outlook on it. Cool. In other games where they introduce ghosts, like Curse of Blackmore Manor, which our last podcast was about, game number 12, I believe. They kind of play it out as like are ghosts real kind of thing, or like this is a spooky event, like, but I don't know, you can take whatever you want from it, but this is just like, yeah, there's ghosts, like this is a deal. Significant part of the game, so like, I don't know, I thought that was cool.
It's a way of life or death, so to speak. So yeah.
So the characters we've met so far, we've met Colton and Clara, and Wade, I think his name is.
Yes.
Wade is hanging out in the graveyard. Colton is the fiance of Jesselyn, who's the missing girl. And Clara is the mom who stares wistfully out the window in a "when will my husband return from war" kind of scenario.
Yes.
Except, does she have a husband in the game? Like,
I don't think she mentioned one.
No, we know that Clara doesn't know who her father is, I think, because when Wade was talking about that one specific grave, she'd be like, "Mom, where's Dad? Who's my dad?" And her mom would be like, "Have you met?" She wouldn't give her a straight answer. More like, "Mom, who's my dad?" And she'd be like, "Hey, look, let's do shadow puppets." I don't know. So it's more like that. So we didn't hear about if Clara's husband, I guess, boy toy, I don't know, who Jesselyn's father is, rather. So Colton gave us the cell phone, and we're trying to...
Oh, right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, exactly. We picked up... Oh, wait a second. I want your opinion on this.
Okay.
Nancy is a kleptomaniac.
Yes,
Go.
I've noticed that.
Explain, what is happening?
Right, well, coming from an outside perspective, she just likes picking up shit.
She picks up some
like,
shit.
Oranges and a bag of cotton. I mean, that was pretty intense.
That's a whole other thing that we might go into later with the cotton.
Right.
But, like, the first thing we picked up was a fucking hammer.
Right. If, like, I ever saw a person actually doing this in real life, I'd have to, I don't know, maybe diagnose them with something. I'd be concerned.
Brittany's a counselor.
I am, yeah, so...
It's not just like, you are weird. It's like an actual, it's a thing.
Yeah.
She gets paid to do it. It's great. So... I'm pretty sure Nancy's pockets are lined with, like, whatever Mary Poppins' bag is. Because, like, she's got 10 oranges, like, a cotton picker attached to, like, a staff, and, like, we had a canvas for a painting.
Right.
And, like, a bottle of turpentine that was, like, a gallon. Like, I don't know how she does it. Maybe she lifts.
Maybe.
So she's extra strong. I don't know.
Pretty buff.
I would love to see it, except her interactive never shows us Nancy's face.
Gotcha. So that we can assume the role.
That's true, yeah. Somebody also says, like, maybe this creepy stuff is happening because, like, we're being punished. And that kind of reminded me of what I brought up before when it said, like, it's a plot of land in the South that has workers on it. The writers don't come out and say it, but it's heavily alluded to the fact that it was a plantation.
It's implied, yeah.
The writer in this game, Nick Blahunka, I really hope I'm saying that right. He's a very cool dude. I heard him give an interview in another podcast, and he mentioned, or maybe it wasn't a podcast, it might have been like a written interview or something. He says that it's like they couldn't come out right and say it, but that was pretty much what it was, which is really interesting. The next thing I had written down was we saw a ghost.
We did.
Which could mean anything. It wasn't the lady in the red dress, Charlotte, which we have not met yet personally, but we will later.
We just well, was it a ghost really? Because it was just a shadow outside the door.
A shadowy figure.
So that could have been someone snooping around. It could have been a ghost.
I thought it looked like a ghost because
pretty ghosty.
Her interactive tends to like, if there are characters in it, they pretty much like stay in one spot and waggle some limbs until you click on them and talk to them.
Gotcha.
And this seemed like a little transparent. I don't know. I thought it could be a ghost. Not specified who it was, but just adding to the spooky atmosphere of the game. I'm sure it's not the first ghost, or I'm sure it's the first ghost we've seen. I'm sure it will not be the last. Oh gosh, let's talk about Wade and Savannah.
Yeah, all right.
Who is she?
Who is she? That's the question.
Who is she?
Okay, that was the first person that we talked to in this game.
Yeah.
Right. So, the Southern Belle, as I'll try to call her, because that was my first impression.
They're all going to be Southern Belles, pretty
yeah.
much. But Savannah, maybe she's from Georgia.
Yeah.
Sam's from Georgia. Hey. Anyway.
Oh, cool. Shout out. Woo!
Have you ever met Sam?
I think briefly.
Okay.
Once or twice.
Did we all watch the Aristocats in my room senior year?
Well, yes.
Okay.
I mean, we were living together at that point, so I did watch the Aristocats with you.
At least 30 times. I'm so sorry.
It's all right.
Side note, our Aristocats podcast is coming out next week.
Oh, hey. Check out for that.
It's not, but like, that'd be nice.
That'd be catastrophic. Stop! All right, I'm done.
Okay, yeah, so they're really heavily alluding to the fact that Wade and Savannah were like
something else.
You know, a little bit of. They're alluding to more things because I guess her interactive must have like a very rated E for everyone. Fan base.
Yeah, of course.
So, the fact that they're following us on Twitter is just wild. I'm trying to control how much I'm cursing, but sometimes it's like coming out, so whatever.
Yeah.
You said that Wade was kind of like Gary.
He kind of looked like maybe a Gary in 10 years.
Gary in 10 years, except not as pale.
No, not as pale. He had a nice tan to him.
And just
nice warm glow.
What highlight does she use?
Right? Nice bronzer.
And he's just hanging out in this graveyard.
I know.
And like, if you look at a gravestone, that he's like, I'm gonna tell you all about this guy, you know. Which, if you knew Gary, like, we love him very much.
Very much.
Britney
so.
more so than me because they're dating. But Gary is just a wonderful person.
Yeah.
He needs to be a guest on
He's
the
a
next
tree.
episode.
I'll warm him up to the idea.
Please. Okay. Fantastic. Also, the other thing I want. Oh, there is a blank gravestone.
Yeah. Well, there's two, right? There was one near him in like the beginning part. Right?
Yeah, where he's like,
and he was talking about
this blank one is my favorite.
The gray lady.
Yeah.
And then there was a blank one next to the, was it 54 lost souls?
Something like that.
Yeah, of the workers, I'm guessing.
Yeah, the ones who were probably slaves. You don't know this yet, but there was a big fire.
Well, it said the fire got her. Charlotte.
Fire got her. Oh.
At the very beginning. So.
I thought you meant like got her as like a word. Like
got her.
Like catcher in the rye, the got her in the fire. I don't know.
Ooh, it's a sequel.
Oh man. It's a phony. But yeah, that's I think the fire that they were talking about. I know that when they said the fire got her, Charlotte Thornton died in a fire. That's a very tragic backstory that we haven't personally heard the thing behind yet. But I'm sure we will. And the Gray Lady is a person that will probably show up as a ghost at some point. So maybe they were like foreshadowing it. Like, my favorite was like, this blank one's my favorite. It really, it didn't sound like that at all. But like now that I'm thinking about it, it's very much like a Forrest Gump kind of thing. Probably not. And when I'm listening back on this and trying to edit it, I'll be like, that is not Forrest Gump. But yes, it is. Open your mind, me. Oh God. So this other thing I wanted to bring up was like the missing bride trope.
Oh yeah.
So Jessalyn is missing, and she's supposed to get married to this guy Colton, who I don't like.
I don't like him either.
He gives off an awful vibe.
Yeah.
My favorite part about like my reason to hate him was like, I knew Jessalyn was the person I was going to marry ever since I met her, and then I threw a rock at her face.
Who does that?
Well, like 7-year-old Colton, who is a piece of shit.
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah, so
what a sociopath.
Ladies, that's a red flag.
Yeah.
Gentlemen too, and people who don't belong to either of those genders.
Yes, or both.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Very true. That is something that is not okay.
Yeah.
FYI. But yeah, in another Nancy Drew game, Haunting of Castle Malloy, which is another spoopy game that we could play. It's set in Ireland, I believe, and oh gosh, is it the bride that goes missing? No, I thought it was the missing bride, but it's the groom that goes missing before the wedding. So I feel like sometimes Her Interactive is like, we've done this all before. Let's just scramble this up and throw it back out there. Anyway, do you have any other general thoughts about the game or like the style of the point and click games?
Well, as I told you during our playthrough, I'm not a huge fan of point and click. I never I don't know why. I just kind of like how you're saying with the Unity engine that they're gonna be picking up.
Yeah, Midnight in Salem, the next game that's supposed to be released, if ever.
Which sounds interesting.
Because they've pushed back the release date so far. And every time if you ever look at Her Interactive's Twitter, at least once a day, they're like, sorry, we haven't announced the release date for Midnight in Salem yet. A lot of people thought it was going to be around Halloween because they used to release 2 a year. But yeah, it's not happening this year. It might not happen ever, but that's why we're creating new Nancy Drew content. Hey.
Oh, hello there.
Hello. Anyway. Yeah, point and click.
Right. But I mean, it's fairly nice as far as point and clicks go. You know, I don't feel frustrated by the interface. So more technical stuff, but
yeah.
I really like the graveyard. No surprise, right? But like,
Master.
I like the little extra stuff too of like the books, and you can get really in depth in these games. So I appreciate the thought and the history behind it all.
Okay, so let's dive a little deeper into it. So spoiler alert, we moved from our setup on the floor to the couch.
Yes.
And now we're on different sides of your ears. In theory. Actually, maybe not. We'll see.
Right.
So we played a lot in the game. What are we doing now?
That's a good question.
Sorry I threw that on you, because you know how you told me to not take that whole shot?
Yes.
And I did not. And I was like, I don't feel anything. And then you were like, wait it out, see how it goes. Now I'm like,
glad you didn't take the other half of that.
Yeah, thanks, Mom. You're great. You're great.
I try.
So we were stuck on this one puzzle for the longest time.
It was the graveyard puzzle.
There's an epitaph on the scavenger hunt paper that we found outside.
Yes.
Because Jessalyn really didn't want anyone to find out her password. And then when we looked on her phone, there wasn't even anything that important there. Nothing compromising, nothing
that was annoying.
What was
all that work for nothing?
Yeah, we did get a couple of audio recordings for 2 people, for Jessalyn and for what's her face, Addison.
Yeah.
What's with the weird names in this game?
I know, right?
This is a very mid-2000s kind of thing.
Yeah.
When was this made? 2013? Well, yeah, that's when, like, the mid-2000s babies would be growing up.
Right, I guess.
Colton, Jesselyn, Addison,
Right.
Harper.
Yeah. Oh, they are like mid-2000s
Except
names,
Clara.
aren't they? That's more of like a classic name, but she's also an older character.
Yeah, but Wade and Harper and Clara are the same names. And well,
I feel like
same
Wade.
ages.
No, Wade and Clara are older.
In the water.
And Charlotte.
Wade in the water. Sorry. That's what it reminds me of. Like, names that are verbs. Who said that? Was that you or Bess?
That was Bess.
Yeah, okay. Bess was cool. We met. Brittany met Bess for the first time. I just reached into boiling water.
Good for you. Good job. Good job.
I was trying to stir the tea in the mug I made.
Yeah, we're drinking tea now just to take our edge off a little bit.
Yeah, we just took a couple of shots and, like, it was horrific. We weren't prepared for it. We're the worst partiers.
We're grandmas.
It's fine. It's fine.
They really are.
Oh, that's hot. Too hot to tot, am I right?
All right. But anyway, back to the puzzle.
Yes, Brittany, thank you for keeping us on track.
So, I was expecting a letter, like a word, not a letter.
Yeah,
a word.
This bitch couldn't think to name her password like
An actual word.
Colton or Thornton or Coco Kringle
Or
or
something.
whatever. Or maybe like the name of her pet. She doesn't have a pet. She could have.
Yeah. Like Fernando or something. I don't know.
Don't call my name. Don't call my name.
Lady Gaga. She comes up quite a bit.
Again in her podcast. And we also talked about her like 5 minutes ago. I was telling her the last night I fell asleep on my couch watching American Horror Story Hotel, which she was in. And then like this is the third time she's come up tonight.
I know. It's all her inner plan.
This episode of Drink to Play is sponsored by Lady Gaga's new album, Fernando.
I don't think that's the name of her album.
It's okay, we're not actually sponsored.
Right.
This isn't costing us anything to produce or like something.
Yeah. But if you're watching or listening, Miss Gaga, we really appreciate you.
That was the most disgusting laugh I've ever done. Miss Gaga. Does that make Gareth Mr. Gaga?
I guess so.
If it's a sibling name and not like if it's her maiden name, then it's probably Gareth's last name.
Surname.
Gary stands for Gareth.
Yes, by the way.
Yeah, so I mean
Gareth Gaga.
Gareth Gaga.
The third. Oh god. This has become
This is the only Nancy Drew podcast I know of that mostly doesn't talk about Nancy Drew. But also the only Nancy Drew podcast I know of. I'm gonna finish that shot.
Go for all right.
What is this?
Best of luck.
This is rum. Pusser's rum.
Yes. I was trying to think of the name.
Which is it's nice and smooth. It's English apparently. Introduced by another ex. Same ex.
Yeah.
This episode is sponsored by Same Ex. Alley-oop, here we go. Oh boy.
Ooh.
Anyway.
Nancy Drew.
Oh
Yeah, that thing, right?
That's why we're here.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay. Would you judge me if I got a spoon and ate this queso?
Go for it.
Okay, do you want one too?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're looking for a blindfold so we can summon this ghost because we got a mysterious note
Yes.
from somebody
Seems
saying
the ghost wanted to hit us up.
Yeah.
Talk to us.
This ghost wants to slide into our DMs.
Whoa. Alrighty. You just dropped the queso.
I got these big soup spoons to eat this queso with
That's
because our
alright.
tots are cold at this point.
It's
It's all right. We'll live.
cool your tots.
Take a shot every time you drop your queso.
That's so good.
Oh, I know.
What are we right now?
I'm the worst vegan I've ever met.
Well,
Oh yeah, cheese is not vegan.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Technically, do you think this is cheese?
No. No, it's not. But
Okay, we're double dipping because like we've reached that point.
yeah,
Okay.
we're friends.
There's vegetables in here.
Yeah.
They're nutrients.
It's all right.
We might not even need those multivitamins.
Oh yeah, no, not anymore. So anyway, Nancy Drew.
Yeah, you've said that, but like, okay, so what else happened? I wrote notes.
Yeah, you did.
In theory. Let's see. Why password?
I think we already covered that.
We did. So, like, I'm just trying to find things to talk about.
So let's see what happened. We did the graveyard. We talked to Ned and Bess.
Let's talk about how Wade went to prison.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Right, and so he went to prison because he snooped in the other factory, the new factory, right?
The Thornton factory.
Yeah, and it was they were still doing
thorns.
they were still doing that stuff where she locked it. She locked the factory.
Yeah, Clara's fucked up. Let's mention that for a second.
Yeah, no kidding.
We talked about how like this was probably a plantation, but okay, Clara's maybe like in her 40s.
Right.
So, assuming this happened within the last 10 years, maybe, there's no way that, like, she had actual slaves.
Right. But she could have undocumented workers.
Oh, that's true. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
That's really messed up. This game goes deep. Yikes.
Silence, just to really, to hit
Let's
that
let that
home.
sink in.
Yeah.
What the
The
fuck?
social
Her
constructs.
interactive. Oh my gosh. Okay. So Wade breaks into this factory to free the workers or something.
Yeah, or to at least see what's going on. And he broke a machine, one of the heavy-duty things.
Yeah. And Clara fucking calls the cops, and she's like, hey, I didn't think he'd actually get arrested, but he gets arrested and spends a year in prison.
Yeah.
He said, like, I watched the seasons change. A full cycle or something like that. Like, that's pretty messed up.
Yeah.
Pretty messed up. So, Clara's the worst.
And
Wade
now
is
she's
okay. Wade... Nancy Drew goes like, you don't seem like a bad guy.
gone. Future Gary.
Yeah. I don't... Oh! I wrote down, you know how, like, sometimes they say goodbye when you stop talking to them? Like normal people. If you're having a conversation with somebody and you're like, hey, I'll see you later, and they're like, hey, bye, that's normal. That's what you do.
Exactly.
It's polite. Wade goes like, I mean, it's Wade. I don't know. Nancy's like, talk to you later. And he's like, adios. Adios. Which is clearly adios, but like,
Adios.
Adios. Like 80 O's. Like,
I love him.
80 times. Like, who?
I love him.
Yeah.
Wade
He's
is
funny.
perfect.
I also wrote something called the Gimble Tucky Boys.
Oh, yeah.
What was that from?
The Gimble Tucky. He was, Wade was talking to us, and he was talking about, like, the history of the South, and I can't remember
Oh
exactly.
my god, that's a lot.
I know, and I can't remember in what context it was, but it was something regarding, like, the great minds of the South, or the great inventors, or like the hard workers of the South, or something.
Sure.
And he referenced them, the Gimble Tucky Boys.
Which sounds fantastic.
Yes.
And I looked it up, and there's literally nothing about it.
Except for Nancy Drew. So.
Nancy Drew blogs on Tumblr, which is, let's give a shout out to them, because they're like, wow. So, we thought they were real, but way to go, her interactive, for making something that sounds real, but is
Gimble
fake.
Tucky.
Fake as shit.
To be fair, Gimble Tucky doesn't. The Gimble Tucky Boys. Like that doesn't sound like a thing.
I think it does.
It sounds like just. It sounds a little too ridiculous to me, but. Gimble Tucky.
Gimble Tucky. I hope we're unlocking things from when you guys played the game, because honestly, like, I didn't remember any of this. Realistically, I played this game one time, and then I got stuck on the final puzzle and never actually finished it. I know who did it, but I never.
We need to eventually do that.
Yeah.
We need to close up these old wounds that you have.
I need closure. So, but yeah, also, one other thing I wanted to talk about was why is Thornton Hall so fucked up? Not the game, but why is the game so fucked up? But also, the building itself, this plantation, looks like it's been shit on by the heavens.
No kidding.
It is decrepit. It is falling apart. There's
that piano
just
that
gave
shitty,
up and fell down.
Shitty piano.
Yeah, and everything literally. Are they out of money? Are they? Well, they're probably out of money a little bit, but how can they afford to keep paying so many workers? Yeah. Are they still making anything?
Like the taxes on the place too, because it has its own island.
Yeah, it's an island, Black Rock Island.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I thought was around Maryland, because there's an OAR song about, like, the Black Rock. Do you know what I'm talking about? No? That's fine. Anyway. It is. But it's, like, really falling apart, and that's weird. It's weird to me. Yeah. I don't know.
And, like, are they still living in it? Or...
I can't tell, because there's only 3 places we can go in it.
Right. Well, they're probably not, because, Jesselyn, yes? They went for her bachelorette party to go to it and to spend a night.
Oh yeah,
to look for the ghost.
That would be really boring. Like if I was having a bachelorette party and you came over and were like, "Hey, let's get drunk and play Nancy Drew games for our bachelor."
Hey, I think that's a pretty good idea.
Option. That's a viable option.
Yeah.
But like staying home basically. So yeah, that doesn't make sense. It's probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you did also mention before something about Charlotte. We saw Charlotte's ghost.
Yeah.
And what was she dressed in?
She was in period costume. She was in a ball gown.
A ball gown. Red ball gown.
Which...
Black mask, probably. Lacy mask?
I was so focused on the dress, I didn't see the mask, but... I thought she didn't have a mask on, but I could have completely, not have registered that.
Yeah.
But... So she's Clara's cousin.
Yes.
And Clara's probably, what do you think, like 40s, 50s?
Maybe 50s.
Yeah. So, like, that's not general typical wear for someone that age, or in that time period. So, what's up with that?
I mean, I can tell you the answer if you want. Or we can discover it later in the game.
Is it, like, really integral, shocking to the plot, or?
No, not particularly.
Oh, okay, then you can tell me.
She died at her 21st birthday party.
Which was probably a masquerade,
Which was a masquerade ball.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
so she's dressed up in this ball gown, which is why she's got this big-ass bustle and, like, the black lacy mask, which you probably didn't see in the frame, but, like, if you look at anything else, like, promotionally for the game, it shows up, yeah.
Gotcha.
So that is why, she's dressed in a big floofy gown, which is actually pretty lit.
It's gorgeous.
It's really cool because I didn't think that this game would get so popular. But if you look up like Nancy Drew cosplays or like closet cosplays or anything, this is the thing that people like dress up as.
Yeah.
Charlotte from Thornton Hall, which is really, really actually cool.
Yeah. It makes sense though because the dress is really pretty and it's a really cool time period, or at least like the ball gown.
Yeah,
aesthetic.
I'm not like this is a really good game. It's not the standalone favorite Nancy Drew game. I've only played it once and like haven't actually finished it. But even I like kind of closet cosplayed as her. I have a red lacy 3/4 sleeve like dress.
Ooh.
I wore it last time we tried to drink to play this game.
Oh yeah.
When we went to dinner. And then like that was really it. It was like a pretty boring closet cosplay.
That's
now
alright.
Now that I have a faux leather jacket, it would look much more badass. So maybe I'll try to wear it.
Ooh.
But yeah, anyway, that didn't really mean anything. So we cracked into this bitch's phone.
Yes, going all the way back around to that.
To this game that we're playing, yeah. Was there really anything else?
There really wasn't. I mean, we had the audio files.
somebody said this thing. I wrote it down. I think Clara's mother said this. She said, Thornton ghosts are only around for a short period of time they only have a short period of time to make peace with whatever. And then they, like, turn into something really awful.
Fall into the cracks.
They fall into the cracks.
They become the...
hungry shadows, they say.
Yeah.
Which is really a lot.
And she was referring to the spirits of the 54 workers.
Yeah.
When referring to the hungry shadows.
That makes a lot of sense. But also, like, regular Thornton ghosts. Backtracking to, like, the book that Savannah gave us, which said, like, all these things about Charlotte as a ghost seeming kind of aggressive or, like, that kind of stuff. And then Wade said, that doesn't sound like my cousin Charlotte. Like, that doesn't seem like her at all. So it seems like she missed the short window to, like, make peace with anything, and then she became a hungry shadow.
Right. You know what? Off the cuff, you want to know what this reminds me of?
I do. Let me hear it.
Supernatural.
Okay, what do you mean?
With, shout out to Supernatural fans, if you decide to keep this in. But, like, Bobby
Strong.
You know how, like, when spoiler alert too for anyone who hasn't seen this.
Yeah.
But when Bobby passes on, and even with just the folklore of spirits in that universe of when you die, you have the choice of staying here or going with the Reapers, right?
Oh.
And when you stay here,
I forgot all about that.
it's to make peace. And then if you continue to stay, you start to get a little bit more vengeful and you forget about yourself. And so it's kind of like, that's what it reminded me of. But, like, I have also heard of taking it out of the fandom and nerddom in general. You know, it does remind me of a lot of ways that people do view the afterlife too. So I thought that was an interesting take.
That is really
that Nancy took, or the people at Her Interactive.
Yeah. Have you ever had any experiences with the supernatural? Oh,
I'm giving her a knowing look.
She gave me a look.
Oh, yeah.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, a lot. Of course, with the drink in me, I'm trying to remember different parts. But, well, actually, I'll tell you, because the Hungry Shadows thing kind of brings up one.
Oh, God. I'm going to pee my pants.
I hope so.
All right, let's...
Anyway. Okay, so... when Clara was talking about the Hungry Shadows...
Yes.
And I told you this when we were playing. It reminded me of the shadow people that I told you about. So there's a mentality that there's this type of entity, usually in abandoned places, that they're shadow people, and they look like shadows in the figure of a person, right? For the past 4 or 5 years, and there's a specific shadow person that throughout the world people have seen.
Oh, God.
It's called the Hat Man.
What the okay.
Yeah. It's a shadow person that holds, like, this hat on him. It kind of looks like, not a fedora, it's like the actual hat. It's like the wide-brimmed hat.
You mean like something you'd wear to Saratoga?
Kind of, yes.
Oh.
So it's like
a sombrero?
Not as intense as a sombrero,
but more like a Saratoga racetrack.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
So that's a figure that people have seen throughout the world, throughout different cultures.
Interesting.
And a few years back, I want to say probably around the time my grandmother died, the first time it was seen was by my mother in my bedroom.
Oh, God.
Standing over me while I was asleep.
God, please.
Yes. No. And my mom, she tends to stray away from these things. So if she saw something like that, it means that something was there. You know, she tends to not...
She's not the kind of person to make stuff up?
No, not at all.
Moms, though.
Yeah. So, and she, my loving mother, ran back to bed and didn't...
She didn't try to save you at all. She was just like, oh, sorry.
It's one of Britney... She knows me, though, so she's like, oh, whatever. It's one of Britney's friends, whatever. And I'm not... What did you call me earlier? The spoop queen?
That's right.
Yeah.
Spoop queen.
So she told me about it the day after. I was like, oh, okay. I don't see him as a bad figure. a lot of people say he's a harbinger of death. I don't see him as that.
But like that's what you're interested in.
Right. So I think of him more of as like a, hey, how you doing? You know, what's up?
Folks,
Yeah. Adios. You know, like, I don't see him as a bad or a malevolent figure.
Yeah.
I just see him as a dude who comes around every so often
He's
to
just
check
like
up.
a coworker.
Exactly. So
Basically, because Gareth is studying to be a mortician.
exactly.
Oh goodness.
So like, that's at least one of the examples of the paranormal in my own life. But there've been other instances too. But that's like the one thing I could think of.
It's like 1 a.m, isn't it?
Something like that.
It's 1:10.
Oh my god.
We've been playing this game for far too long. So let's we sound funny, but not because we're drunk, just because we're pooped. But when mystery calls, you gotta answer. So it's always a good time here at Drink to Play. Cheers. What are we drinking now? Water, so we're not hungover tomorrow.
Hydration is important.
Hydration is key. Like, get that glowing skin, flush out those toxins.
Oh yeah.
You're 70% water, so like, balance yourself. Anyway, regardless, we found Harper.
Oh yeah.
So she's hiding under the house.
Story of my life. Actually.
Harper is actually something I wanted to talk about because I mentioned this briefly. Brittany, you're a mental health counselor.
Mm-hmm.
So your big girl job is to like diagnose people.
Yes.
And to therapize them.
Yes, that is the technical term.
So I've heard.
Mm-hmm.
I took one psych class. No, I took one undergrad and 2 grad. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Anyway, what do you think Harper is?
Well, I don't know. I mean,
what vibes does she give off?
She gives off kind of the eccentric aunt kind of vibe of like
confirmed. That's what she is.
That is.
So like, okay, Harper is the eccentric aunt. We know this.
Yeah.
Harper also spent a lot of time in a
institution,
youth mental health rehabilitation center, maybe.
Yeah.
But this was probably in the 70s or something, so it was...
Yeah, it was probably really messed up and not the most comforting place to be.
Right. And so, stepping back a little bit, what do you think is actually wrong with her? This happened after her sister passed away, so it was probably...
grief.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think when, especially something so sudden, so tragic, on her 21st birthday, her sister dies in this fire, right? It was a fire.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say that she, number one, grieving. Number two, grieving so much over this that there's some dissociative state.
Okay.
Where, you know, she's kind of just in this long state of shock.
Mm-hmm.
And I would imagine that there's some trauma-related stuff there. Maybe some PTSD symptoms. Granted, we've only had like a couple-minute conversation with her, but she seems a little removed.
Yeah, she seems to joke a lot about like darker things. Even she's mentioned like, I would push somebody down a well and just be like, it would be funny, not in a ha-ha funny, but help, I'm in a well kind of funny.
Yeah.
Which is like kind of fucked up, Harper.
Right. But I don't know. I don't view her as a sociopath. I think, especially with a trauma background, a lot of people do kind of gravitate towards that morbid sense of humor, and it's a way of consolidating that trauma and that really hard stuff that you've experienced while also trying to relate to other people who haven't. It can be a double-sided sword, though. That it can be a mechanism to cope, but it can also be a place to stuff or turn a blind eye to what's really going on. I know that, at least in my practice, I see a lot of people who do it the opposite way, where, you know, there's something deep down hidden, and they can't access it. And in order to keep it down there, they use the humor as kind of this emotional barrier where they don't. Yeah,
okay.
so it could be one or the other, depending.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
But I think that if used correctly, humor can be
an effective coping mechanism. Interesting. Okay. And would you say Harper is using it effectively or no?
Well, granted, she's in a basement. She's ostracized from her family.
Truth.
She seems like, even without using the humor, there is some separation between that reality piece of what's going on.
Yeah.
I think that she's not using it in the healthiest manner.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate it in the sense of the game, but
yeah, you thought she was hysterical.
I love her.
Yeah,
I think she's awesome.
I think we're more drawn to like the flawed characters like to begin with because they're more real,
right?
And she is pretty funny and endearing, so I think that's great. But speaking of Harper, I mentioned this a little bit before, but wanted to backtrack to get your opinion.
Gotcha.
She claims that she said this so specifically, and these are all terms used to diagnose people, so maybe she heard this in the clinical setting and like realized it was applied to her, or people told her outright that this was her diagnosis and she took it to heart or whatever. She said she is a sociopath with delusions of grandeur and a history of erratic behavior. Does that sound about right? From what you've seen in the 30 seconds.
From what I've seen,
or so.
The grandeur part I haven't seen. Granted, I haven't seen the full game yet and the full story arc. But I don't think grandeur so much. I mean, if there was grandeur, she wouldn't be, ostracizing herself, living in the basement and all that stuff.
True. What are delusions of grandeur for those who aren't familiar?
Grandeur and... granted, I don't see...
There are different kinds of delusions.
Exactly. And granted, I don't see much of the grandeur part in my... I work with kids, so I don't see much of that in my practice. There's a lot of behavioral stuff, not so much like the deeper rooted things going on, very rarely. But delusions of grandeur are essentially... you think you're hot shit. Yeah. To speak in layman's terms, right?
Yeah.
And I haven't seen much of that yet with her. The sociopathic, there's flares of it with her. Just because sociopathic tendencies, there is kind of that separation piece. But I think that's more stemming from the grief, like I said.
Yeah.
I don't think it's... because usually when... the term or the label sociopath or psychopath is another one that's thrown out there a lot. That's usually when it comes to like a personality trait that's more ingrained. And granted, a lot of stuff can shape our personalities, but I think that it's just stemming from that grief, and I think that due to the nature of the time period, I don't know if she was able to cope with that properly.
Yeah, and Wade mentioned that Harper ran away from home for a while.
Yeah. And
they thought she was dead and gone, so they put a grave marker in the family graveyard, the cemetery, and didn't have a specific date on it because they weren't sure if she died. But when she came back, they kept it there as like a lesson to teach her. But do you remember if that happened before or after Charlotte's death?
I think she... Oh. Well, I remember what they said was that Harper, the death really impacted her. And she wasn't the same after that. So I think it might have been after the fact.
Okay. Yeah,
granted, I'm not sure. But that's another thing, too. Think of the implications of that. Your family... kind of just writing you off, putting your tombstone down in the graveyard, and
that's pretty
not
fucked
okay.
up.
No, it's
this
not okay.
game is a lot to take in. There's a lot going on that I didn't notice the first playthrough. I just took it at face value, like, okay, there's this crazy person in the basement that the rest of the family doesn't talk to. There's always like the one family member that people don't talk to.
Yeah.
And like this, I just didn't notice because I was like, okay, cool, new Nancy Drew game. I'm gonna solve this mystery. There are ghosts, but there's a lot, And then, like, going back to the other history of, like, the actual property and the 54 souls that died in the fire because Clara, no, this was in the 1800s, because somebody, like, didn't want to take care of them properly and not treat them as people, and more likely than not, they were probably slaves.
I think that was Roger.
No, Roger was Clara, Harper and Charlotte's father.
Oh, really? I thought he was one of the original.
I think so.
Like,
wait. Oh, hold on. Let's find out because they gave us a family tree.
Oh, yeah.
We exited the game though.
Oh.
So we'll find out
next
later.
time.
Yeah.
Cliffhanger.
I guess so. What else? Going back to the mental health thing. This is really interesting. This goes so deep. There, in Nancy's journal entry, she mentioned that Colton seemed to have a history of mental health issues only because he said that he goes to a dark place when he thinks about something. Does that seem to, like, vilify mental health? And what's your impression of how that's going in the game so far?
Right. So, well, I think there's a lot of stuff going on just from, number one, how we see, what's his face, Colton.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
we hate him,
we don't like him.
But, like, now that there's this mental health component and, like, we're supposed to hate him, I'm questioning that.
Right. You know, I missed where he said, I go to a dark place.
It was the first scene that we spoke to him, so we were just trying to learn about them.
Yeah, but I skipped over that.
That was really it.
But I do remember Clara saying, or Claire or whatever.
Same thing.
She was saying that there was some family issues with Colton and like a history there, but she didn't specify.
Mm-hmm.
But that was the only mention that I heard that there was something going on for him.
Yeah.
That being said, the whole dark place thing, don't we all?
Yeah, that doesn't mean
place?
That really doesn't mean anything. And I can't believe that Nancy wouldn't have a dark place, especially, you probably don't know this, but her mother passed away when she was really young.
Oh, okay.
So she lives with her dad. Well, when she's actually at home in River Heights, when she's not traveling the world solving mysteries.
Gotcha.
She must have processed this grief when she was very, very young. Mm-hmm. And honestly, this is okay. Are you ready? This is going to go super deep. I wonder if this has to do with the way Nancy treats Ned. Because she doesn't seem to talk about her mother a lot. And her relationship with her mother is further explored in, I want to say number 29, The Silent Spy. That number was probably wrong, but that's a game where her mother was a spy. Oh. And Nancy travels to some country to, like, finish the mission that her mother died trying to solve or something like that. It's been a while since I played that game. That's Sam's favorite game, so shout out to Sam. We'll play that in a future episode.
Woohoo.
So, like, that separate and aside, if in case, like, you've played this game and you haven't played that one, or any of the other ones in your case, Nancy may or may not have processed this grief. So the way that the lack of intimacy we see in her relationship with Ned. She doesn't say, like, I love you, or I guess she says I miss you. But she doesn't seem to be very close with him. It seems like a very sterile relationship. Which makes sense in a Her Interactive rated E for everyone kind of setting. But, like, if you've been dating for this long, you could at least be, like, a little flirty, a little caring about him, show some sort of connection instead of, like, keeping it that... I want to say sterile. That's the only word I can think of.
But, I mean, think of other mediums of entertainment that have this level of rating.
Yeah.
Disney movies and, you know, that E for everyone kind of mentality. There still is that warmth there when you portray a romantic relationship.
Think about, like, any Disney movie. Like, Sleeping Beauty, Snow White, there's always like a kiss and they're like, oh, we're in love happily ever after.
Yeah, there's a little bit
I don't
more.
see that with Nancy and Ned.
Gotcha.
This is going very far in.
Yeah, this is more not
We're-
drink to play, but psychoanalyze to play.
Yeah, we've kind of sobered up at this point. We're just like eating carbs and like thinking about life and
good life.
honestly, yeah, pretty much.
Mm.
So yeah, that's really interesting. I don't know how this will be tied into the rest of the podcast, but I don't know. I just thought that who hasn't been in a dark place like
Yeah.
that? And I don't think that Nancy can be like, oh, okay, so watch out for this guy. I don't
Right.
remember if Colton is the villain or not.
Yeah. I think he's so obvious.
How do you mean?
Well, like from the moment we talked to him, I
Yeah.
didn't like him.
Oh,
he
well,
comes
yeah.
off as unlikable.
Well, I said this when I was drunk, but he has too many layers on.
Yeah.
He's got
Which
like,
obviously
that's how you know.
villains.
That's how you know you can't trust them.
Exactly.
He's got like this white button-up shirt with like a sweater vest over it, maybe an entire sweater. You can't tell because he's got a blazer on it, and the blazer is buttoned.
Uh-huh.
Maybe this is like symbolism for how far removed Colton tries to be from everything.
Ooh, maybe.
Shit. That's the English major part coming out in full force.
There you go.
Yeah, let's psychoanalyze everybody else too. I don't remember what anyone was wearing, but like we'll dive back into this in another time.
Alright.
What else did you want to talk about?
Let's see, did we cover all your notes?
Colton mental health
Oh!
issues. What the fuck was that?
That is the most important topic.
This is really important. So we were in. It's not the basement. It's more of like the workshop area, I guess,
Yeah.
where the cotton gin is and like the oranges where you charge Jesselyn's phone. That's a weird description of any.
Yes.
What could it be? We were closer toward the door that Harper took us in.
Yeah.
And we turned around and there was this shuffling mass, this brown thing that just kind of like waddled from over toward the table towards us, and we couldn't follow it. We couldn't get a sense of what it was. It was definitely a part of the game, but not important enough that Nancy commented on it. It's kind of like that thing where you notice like, oh, this statue moved a little bit, but it's just to creep you out.
Yeah.
But it looked like an animal, but it
did
didn't
not
have
see
legs. It didn't have eyes.
It looked like a giant pine cone to me.
It really did look like a pine
that's-
cone.
That's what it had like that shape to it, and it just
Yeah.
kind of scuttled,
Uh-huh.
and it was over before it began. Like, it was just so quick, and
It was so fleeting.
oh, just like life.
Oh boy.
But I'm so confused as to what that could be. So, shout out to anyone who has experienced that.
hit us up.
because we don't know what that could have been. We didn't see any characteristics of it that
I should have like Googled it before we talked about it.
probably.
But like, if you're listen. So if you're listening on like SoundCloud or somewhere where you can leave a comment, please leave a comment and like let us know what that is, because I'm concerned. Just mildly concerned. Yeah, I think so there are two other quotes that I wrote down that I don't remember the context of. One, this is a classy affair. Was that in the game or was that us?
it was probably a little bit of both. No, there was something in the game.
Yeah, because otherwise, like, classy affair, we've had, like, 4 different types of alcohol today, and then,
Yeah.
like, tater tots and, like, mozzarella sticks, so clearly that's a classy affair. But part of the game, that was a classy affair?
There was something. Someone was saying
Was
something.
it Harper talking about?
Probably.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
I want to
though.
say this was before we found the backpack, because the other quote happened afterward.
Yeah.
Oh. Did it have to do with the letter we saw from Jesselyn?
Oh,
to
yes,
Colton
that's
with
it.
The wedding prep.
Yes, that
Yeah.
was it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that was when we found the backpack.
We
'cause That was
did.
in the backpack.
we found the backpack, and Brittany learned firsthand that Nancy is the fucking worst person ever. as if it weren't enough that Nancy just picks up shit all the time.
Oranges and cotton
picker. She's got the deepest pockets I've ever experienced. She's got like, well, no, she didn't have the gallon of turpentine, but she's been carrying around this cloth drenched in paint thinner for hours now.
She's huffing on fumes. That stuff's strong.
Honestly, Nancy, I'm inspired but also afraid.
Yes.
So she's had everything. She's got it all. At least 10 navel oranges in her pocket. And like a bag of cotton picker, which is like several feet long with a little cage on the end. So like people would definitely notice if it were sticking out of her back pocket. Like there's no way. So the cool, funny part of the Nancy Drew games is that she's got sticky fingers. If you need it for something later, she'll pick it up and like not even say anything and just add it to your inventory. However, this poor missing girl, we found her backpack in this hidden passageway in the house, and we zip it open and find like some important stuff like letters, a key. We still haven't used that key. We should like check that out.
That's probably the mausoleum, maybe.
And a Cocoa Kringle bar, which Nancy Drew fans will know that like Cocoa Kringle is like her interactive brand for chocolate. It's everywhere.
Ooh.
They even like if you pre-order the game or something, or if you like win a contest, they send you a Cocoa Kringle bar, which is like a rewrapped like chocolate bar with the fake brand on it, which is funny. So Nancy takes this missing girl's chocolate bar, and you hear this, and like she just
inhales it.
She inhales
like
it. It doesn't have the
beast.
chance to even make it into her pocket. She just sees it, and she's like, yes, this is going inside me right now. Oh no.
You want to know what?
I do. What?
The real sociopath
Is
Nancy.
Explain. I like this theory. Is there anything behind it, or is just that a throwaway comment?
Well, like it's half jest.
Half jest.
Yes.
Only half.
Only half.
Only half.
Just from what you've explained to me about this Nancy and what I've experienced.
She is a treat.
She is a treat. She has this distant, aloof relationship with the boyfriend. She has the disregard for other people's belongings and just takes them. You know? There's something
She's just
there.
awful.
Yeah.
Why does she have an entire franchise? Can we talk about how we called Bess and Ned answers the phone? Do you know about the Ned controversy and the...
You hinted at it.
Okay.
That
so
it's a little strange.
Is a thing that people get up in arms about. Nancy Drew is the worst girlfriend on the planet. She is dating Ned Nickerson, who is the most patient individual.
With the stupidest name.
Yeah, that's true.
Sorry if someone
No,
out
it's
there is
okay. That was made like 8 billion years ago when the burst books came out.
The burst books.
The books first
sacred
came out.
tablets.
Oh my god. Yeah, Ned and Nancy have been dating for at least 80 years, right? Except she doesn't age, so I wonder if like she and Ned are aware of how long time has progressed. Maybe they've only dated for 2 years in their universe, who knows?
Maybe.
So Ned sits patiently at home while his girlfriend goes gallivanting around the world, calls him occasionally, and is like, hey Ned, here's what I'm doing. These are the people I'm meeting. This is the stuff I'm doing, and I am not there with you. And he's like, oh Nancy, I miss you so much. Here's what I'm doing. It's fucking nothing.
Eating
He's not
queso
doing anything.
out of the can.
Honestly, aren't we all Ned Nickerson?
Yeah.
Trust me. So, like, people in the Her Interactive Nancy Drew Game fandom are like, Nancy is really shitty to Ned, and Ned deserves so much better. So, people ship Fred and Nancy together.
Fred?
Fuck. Frank Hardy of the Hardy Boys.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Fred
Sorry.
is more like a Frank Ned thing. I don't know if people ship that. People still use the word ship, right?
I do.
I haven't used Tumblr in a while, so it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, we're old.
Yeah.
And about to die.
Oh my god, true, aren't we all? I can't wait for the cold, sweet embrace of death. But
Me
regardless,
too.
Nancy Drew.
Yes. Oh boy. So the Ned thing. Right?
Yeah, so we call Bess, and Ned answers the phone. And Brittany's like, okay, who's this guy? And I'm like, oh shit, Ned and Bess. Oh, that was really aggressively loud. But, like, is that a thing that's happening? Probably not, because her interactive, like, wouldn't dare put any strain on Nancy and Ned's relationship unless you've played the Captive Curse, which we'll probably do in another episode where they have a big fight.
Ooh.
You didn't hear any of that.
Spoiler alert.
I had my hand up on the other side of my face that Brittany's sitting on, so
it's
she
off the
can't
record.
hear me. She probably
Wait,
can.
what'd you say? What?
You are literally like 2 inches away from me. You can hear everything.
I don't know what.
Exactly. So, and then Bess is like, okay, listen, this guy Colton, right? Jesselyn's fiance. Jesselyn's the missing girl. This is the game we're playing. Ghost of Thornton Hall. Hello, welcome to Drink to Play. We are playing Ghost of Thornton Hall. No. Colton is like, my fiance's missing. I threw a rock at her face and then she got mad. Where the fuck should it go? Bess is like, okay, how cute is Colton? I wrote this down.
Oh, yes.
On the international Ned... Oh, fuck. Okay. In international Ned cuteness units.
Oh.
So she's sitting right next to Ned Nickerson, the most pathetic character in the Nancy Drew cinematic universe, right? And she's sitting right next to Ned and she goes, okay, how cute is he compared to Ned? And Nancy's forced to answer.
Yeah, but she
Like-
has options, though.
Okay,
'cause
what
at
were
that
they?
point,
What were they?
It was 1/10, or like 1/8 or 1/10, some kind of fraction of a Ned, or 10 times the Ned.
Or, like, the third option was like, you know what? I don't want to get involved in this. And that's what I would have picked. But what did you pick?
I picked 10 Neds. Because I'm a shitlord.
That's fucked up.
Yep.
So, and then Ned's like, oh, ouch, that really hurt my feelings. But you could tell it cut him deep. Because, like, poor Ned.
Yeah, right?
And
I mean, for someone to be 10 times the Ned, that's a lot of Neds.
that is a lot. That's at least 10 Neds.
Right? And as you said, you've never seen what Ned looks like in the
Yeah,
Nancy Drew.
that's why it's ironic. Because, like,
He could be, like...
Ned could be ugly. Ned could be real cute. All we know is that tiny little drawing that sometimes pops up in the phone, which you haven't seen because it's Bess's phone, so we've only seen Bess's illustration. Anyway, that's her interactive planting some seeds, man. That's really messed up. H.I., what's your goal?
He could look like Danny DeVito.
Can you imagine?
I would love that.
Either Danny DeVito or like Steve Buscemi.
That's my new headcanon for Ned.
Ned Nickerson, how do you do, fellow detectives? Is that the title?
Sure.
Might be the title. So I wanted to talk about paranormal experiences that I've had.
Yes, please do.
So you know how your sophomore year you lived in...
Man, I was in the suites.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
When we went to college together, we didn't really start to be friends until junior year.
Yeah.
But my sophomore year, I was hanging out in the building that she lived in. We weren't together at this point, but like I was hanging out in a different friend's room. We weren't dating.
We weren't together.
I was not hanging out in Brittany's room is what I mean. I was hanging out in my friend Pamela's room. Hey Pamela, you're probably not listening, but hey. I was hanging out in her room. She was the RA on the 5th floor.
Gotcha.
And she inherited
She was
this
my
room.
RA.
She was?
Yeah, I was on the 5th floor. That was a
Oh
suite.
shit. Okay, so yeah, she never got like a good vibe in that room.
Mm-hmm.
And there were always stories passed around saying that, oh, somebody hung themselves on the 5th floor, which tends to happen at like any institution you go to. There's always like some ghost story somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
There's another one at this college that like people say like, oh, she hung herself on the 5th floor. And like, yo, listen.
It's like there was a cult of people at some point where it was like, we're going to go to
We're all going to make up this story. Or no, they all went out in the same year and they're like, okay, so this is part of our cult. We're finishing it here.
Yep.
And messing up everyone else.
Adios.
So that in the year like 20 something, people will be like all talking about their ghost stories and like, we caused it. Goals, actually.
Right.
Afterlife goals.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless. So my friend Pamela starts talking about like experiences she's had in the room. Like, if I had to live in a haunted place, I would lose my mind. But she, I don't know the exact things behind it, but she mentioned having like experiences in the room where the entity who allegedly hung themselves interacted with her and like the stuff that's happened, and she would like talk to it and be like, hey, okay, so don't bother me. I'm just doing my thing here. I'm supposed to live in this room. I didn't pick it. I understand. Yeah, I understand that you're living here and I really don't want to bother you. Something like that. Excuse me. So I'm in there hanging out with her a little bit, and I start to feel this like pressure around my neck area.
Oh, okay.
And it doesn't seem like, it's not very nice. It's not like I'm being hugged and it's a little too tight. It's like pressure directly around my neck, kind of like being gently strangled, not like very aggressive all at once.
Gently strangled?
But like,
I know what you mean though.
if I stayed there for longer, it would be like
kind of suffocating.
Yeah. So once I like realized this was happening, we were just having a normal conversation, just talking about like homework and classes and like probably brownies or something. I don't know. She was talking about something else, and I noticed this was happening, and I'm like, I'm gonna step out of the room for a couple seconds. She's like, okay. She probably picked up on what was happening, but like I got out in the hallway and like kind of caught my breath and like noticed I could like breathe better. And we went to a Catholic college. So there was a friar in residence in each of the dorm buildings, and Father Greg is the one that lived in the building we were in, and he always denied anything that had happened. So he wouldn't tell us anything specific of what went on. Right. That's if anything did happen, it was probably him like doing damage control, realistically. But yeah, it was interesting. I felt very like I wasn't allowed to be in this room because I was somebody it didn't recognize and I haven't spoken to it before.
Gotcha. To
announce how like, hey, I'm just here to chill with my friend and catch up with her because I don't see her that often because we don't live near each other anymore. So it was very weird. So that was my experience.
Yeah, and I find that's a pretty common experience. At least that I've been aware of when it comes to walking in, because I mean they were people too, right?
Yeah.
So at least from if you're a skeptic, that's fine, but like as a believer, that's kind of a mentality I think that a lot of believers have of they were people, and you wouldn't want someone new kind of going into your own space, right?
Yeah, like I don't even like having friends over my apartment for the most part. Imagine like if I had no control of whoever walked in or out.
Exactly. It'd be a nightmare.
Not ideal, especially as like an introvert and a homebody. I'm like, nah.
And a grandma. Oh, the grandma's for life.
Oh boy, that's besides the point. Do you want more tea, by the way?
That's okay.
Okay. Yeah, and darn. I was talking to the resident director of that building when I was still a student, and she mentioned like when she lived in that building, she was like, yeah, I've noticed a couple of times that I've had experiences in it, and like this is my experience. And she like described it as a little girl, which didn't seem like the vibe I got from whatever spirit I encountered. She lived on the 1st floor and we were on the 5th floor. It seemed more of like a older male figure. Not that I like saw anything, but if like I had to guess, that would be it.
Okay.
But yeah, she seemed to be a believer too, and that kind of like made me not feel crazy. Yeah.
The other thing is, I'm also kind of in this vein of belief that if there's a story that's kind of, you know, throughout the years gets told and told,
Yeah.
a place can get that energy and can kind of take up and soak
Really?
that energy. Yeah, I think so. And would I still classify it as paranormal? I don't really know.
Yeah.
But I think that there's that piece of a place can absorb the energy of how people react to it and how, you know, people see it. So I think that, I mean, if there was anything that did happen, you know, that the energy probably added to it. But I think if anything didn't happen, I think that that's also something that could have been a possibility. But because like we don't know, there's no documents or anything like that
that we know of.
Yeah.
Like if something significant did happen, I doubt that like the college would try to publicize it.
I have looked. Like I have researched. I couldn't find anything. That being said, I don't have access to a lot of you know, really meaty
maybe
stuff.
like the historical society or something.
Yeah.
They say in the main building on campus, somebody hung themselves after finding out that their betrothed or their husband died in the war in World War I or something, and she hung herself on the 5th floor. And then somebody else lived in that room later, and I don't know the specifics behind it, but she must have had some other mental health concerns, and this was probably in the 30s or 40s at this point. And she also hung herself, and that turned out to be the same room that the other woman hung herself in, so that they closed it and didn't offer it as a room anymore.
Wow. Oh yeah, you've told me this.
Yeah, so like if you tried during room reservation to like get that room, you can't. It's storage now at this point.
Gotcha.
So I don't know like if it actually happened, but it seems likely that it could, because the college won't offer it as a room anymore. And I don't know. I've never seen it, but very interesting. Very spoopy. We can look tomorrow if you want.
I would love to.
Okay. I've got the keys. We can go. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much the gist of what we had to talk about. We quit the game, and now I quit you. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Drink to Play. If you like us, please subscribe, maybe. If you thought this was cool, maybe share it with somebody that you know plays the games, or like maybe might enjoy the psychoanalysis of whatever happened.
Or just the ramblings of two drunk girls.
Oh man, at this point it's not even drunkenness, it's just sad. That could also be the title of it. I love it. So yeah, signing off. I'm Em.
I'm Brittany.
And I guess that's enough for one evening.
Toodaloo.
So I'm trying to think of like a Nancy Drew slogan to sign off with. Close enough.